What's up YouTube? I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games, and today we are reviewing another first place meta deck and it's none other than Bagramon or Bagra Army, whichever you would like to call it. But let me tell you off the bat, this deck is the ideal control deck for today's format. Now, when you look at control decks, there's none other in current format as control as this, because this controls the hand, the board, and also memories. Because not only is it trashing cards from your opponent's hand, also it's moving Digimon on your opponent's board to the Digivolution of another Digimon, and also it's gaining quite a bit of memory on your opponent's turn. Plus, it's also trashing cards from your opponent's security. So it actually focus on that aspect playstyle and not even really attacking the security. So I think the best people that will actually be able to pilot this is actually players that were actually excelling quite well in Blue Hybrid. So back then, Blue Hybrid, okay, full power was a controlled deck. Now I know some people will disagree with that, but the best players that was piloting the deck was building it and playing it as control. Now, depending on specific decks, they were like vary and go like a little bit more aggressive, but the whole build and structure of those type of deck was control. And I think those type of players will excel extremely well with this deck. So this is one deck that you really have to have a solid control mentality to pilot it perfectly. Now, before we begin, friendly reminder as always to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel a lot and I do really appreciate it. So let's get into it. So we have 4 Tokomons, okay? So opponent's turn, when this card is trashed by an effect, draw 1 card. Quite well. So a lot of these cards all have very similar inherent abilities that you're going to see right here. Opponent's turn, when this card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. That's pretty much the majority of all the Digimons, okay? Now he's playing 4 Tiomon, okay? On play, reveal 4 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with Bagra Army in its traits and 1 Amano among them to the hand. Now I'm calling it Amano because for some reason the first name always switches time to time, so I'm just going to call it Amano. And then place remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. So quite good. It has save, so on deletion, you get to put this underneath a Tamer, okay? So for this, for Sound Birdmon, now remember this is translation from the Japanese name, so it might not be exact. So when attacking, by placing 1 purple Digimon card from your hand under one of your Tamers, draw a card. Pretty good. On deletion, save, and then the inherent opponent's turn. When this card is trashed by effect, gain 1 memory. You're seeing a pattern, so 4 of that as well. Then for Chikurimon, okay, on play, by deleting this Digimon, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Bagra Army in its trait among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. On deletion, save. And the inherent ability, opponent's turn, when this Digivolution card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. There we go. Okay, more level 4s, as you can see. Actually, no, that was level 3 that we just did. Yeah, so 4 level 3s each. Okay, now we're doing the level 4. So 3 Daemon. On play, when Digi-evolving, if you don't have an Amano card in play, you may play this card from your hand without paying its memory cost. Now, I can tell you that that Tamer has a play cost of 3, so it's good that for only 2 you get to play the Tamer for free, and also you're going to draw a card for if you play with Digivolution, so quite good. On deletion, save, okay, and opponent's turn, when this card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. Yeah, you're starting to see a pattern with that. Okay, so Troopmon at 3 as well. Opponent's turn, once per turn, when your opponent plays a Digimon or Tamer, by trashing one of this Digimon Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. Save, okay, when this card is trashed from a Digivolution source by a card effect, gain 1 memory. Now you can see that there's quite a bit of stuff that's trashing, so that's why I said like it's very memory control on your opponent's turn, because it's very easy to trash 3 Digivolutions, and if you're doing that, then that's 3 memory off the back. So that's why like this deck is going to have a hard time against decks like Alphamon. Okay, now some of you might be like weirded by that comment, but let me tell you. So Alphamon could accumulate quite a bit of memory and relying on just one monster that could just game it, okay? So this deck has a hard time to play around that. If they have two monsters, it's very easy for them to actually get rid of like a level 6 or like higher. But if they have only one giant beat stick and a lot of memory, that's going to be a bit of an issue. And that's where I see like this deck has some issues with. But at the same time, it does very well as controlling the memory though. So then next we have 4 Mad Leomon, okay? This card's amazing. Once per turn, okay, opponent's turn, when the number of cards in your opponent's hand is increased by effect, so that doesn't count for Digivolutions, okay? So it has to be actual effect. By trashing any one of this Digimon Digivolution card, your opponent trashes cards from their hand equal to the number of cards that was increased. Now let me tell you how good this card is. If your opponent plays a David, and adds a blue and green Digimon, and you have two Mad Leomons, not only are you trashing stuff that gains memory, so that's going to be 2 memory you're going to gain, but your opponent is going to have to trash 4 cards from their hand, which is insane. So it's once per turn, but it definitely stacks if you have multiple Leomons, okay? Now on deletion, it's save as well. And then it has Digicross, okay, 2. Okay, 1 Digimon card with Bagra Army in its traits. Very nice. Inherent. Opponent's turn, when this card is trashed from the Digivolution source by a card effect, gain a memory. Okay, so playing 4 Maliomon. So this is the hand control part, okay? Then we have Maliomon armed mode, okay? Opponent's turn, okay, once per turn, when an effect adds cards to your opponent's hand by trashing one of this Digimon Digivolution cards, draw 2 cards. Now, why this can also be good is because if you have multiple of this and your opponent decides to add a card, not only are you able to like trash, okay, and if you have multiple, let's say trash 2, you're going to draw 2 cards. So if your opponent does that and only have 1 memory, and then you decide to have 2 Maliomon on mode to trash each, that's 2 memory, that's going to pass turn, but also you're going to draw 4 cards, so that means at the beginning of your turn, you're already going to increase by 5 cards. So it's definitely really good if you're planning skipping your opponent's turn and you want to start your turn with quite a bit of cards in hand. So it has Digicross 2, and it says Maliomon X, and then 1 Digimon card with Bagramon in its traits, okay? Inherent, same as always. Okay, when this Digivolution card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. Very nice. And also, they're not really too high if we check the memory. So all of these are just 2, cost is 2, these are 0, so quite well. And then we have our last level 4, which is 2 Warmon. Okay, so 2 of this. Digivolve 1 from Daemon. Okay. Decoy Bagra Army. Bagra Army. Why I mispronounced that. So Decoy is quite simple. If a Digimon would be deleted, you could delete this specific Digimon instead. Okay, so that only applies for the Bagra Army if one would get deleted. Now, let me tell you, so if it's DP reduction though, that one of your other Bagra Army Digimon is getting DP reducted to like 0, not only is this going to delete itself, but that other Digimon is still going to be deleted. Now you have to keep that in mind. And like you could still do it like anyway, it's not an issue because there's sometimes some decks actually benefit from doing that. Like my Maimon, okay, that had Decoy Black, there was actually extra abilities that actually worked if you actually did that. So it was actually worth to do those type of plays in those specific situations. But in this one, it doesn't seem too likely or beneficial unless if you're trying to really get some extra Digimon and trash, then you could always do that as well. All turns, your Amano can't be deleted, which is nice against more Greymons. On deletion, you may play 1 Daemon from your trash, suspended without paying its memory cost, which is quite good. So Daemon is a really good card. And it does get its ability, which is very nice. So that's always a plus. Opponent's turn, when this Digivolution card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. Now we're going to level 6s because there is no level 5 in this deck, okay? Your level 6s are usually being unplayed and never digivolved. Alright, so first, one Blastmon. So it has Rush. On play, this Digimon has 3 Digivolution cards. Blitz right away. And opponent's turn, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks by trashing one of this Digimon Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So quite good. You could gain memory and delete a level 4 or lower Digimon. Okay, 2 Tactimon. Okay, on play, you may play up to 2 level 4 or lower Digimon with Bagray Army in its trait among traits from your trash without paying their memory cost. Those Digimon gain blocker until your opponent's turn, and which is really good because on play abilities still apply, and they have blocker. Opponent's turn. When your opponent's Digimon Digivolution cards would be trashed by effect, you may trash this Digimon Digivolution cards instead. So this because you do attempt to like stack like other Bagray or even level 6s under other Digimon. So if you did actually stack them and the other Digimon that you want to use the ability only has level 6s, you could actually go and trust this one's instead if this one has one of the Digimon that has the inherent to gain memory. So it's decent. It's not really too necessary, but it can definitely come up multiple times. Okay, so 2 of this, and then finally 3 Bagramon. So definitely screwing up on his name majority of the time, but it's okay. So on play, when digivolving, if your opponent has one or fewer Digimon in play, look at your opponent's hand and trash one card among them. So good. Or if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, place one of your opponent's Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as its bottom Digivolution cards. Now, that is really good because there's no restriction on there, okay? So you can literally pick a level 6 Digimon and put it underneath a rookie. That's extremely good. And I did check out some rulings for like tokens. So one of them is that if you select a token, and to put it underneath a Digivolution, it will actually just disappear. So that's little cute things that you need to know. But besides that, really good ability. Okay, the next one is Altern, once per turn though. When an opponent's Digimon Digivolution or when an effect adds cards to your opponent's Digimon Digivolution cards by trashing one card in the Digimon Digivolution cards, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So this is really good. So if they Digivolve or if they place a Digimon in the Digivolution, you get to one trust one of his Digivolution, so you're going to gain the memory. And you're going to trust the top card of your opponent's security stack, which is very good. So you could definitely exploit this. And this is why I said earlier that attacking isn't really necessary because you're doing hand, board, and memory control. So, and even like security. So you're just taking your time. Insane. Okay, now we're going to get to the part that I don't really agree on too much. So you can see already what's going to be going on here. So we have 2. Now, they're playing Alomokoko. I kind of disagree. So it's a memory tamer. And when your Digimon attacks, you may suspend it to trust the top card of your deck. There you go. Now, I do get like you need like a decent amount of the Digimon in trash. This is a very big, slow process. But also, I think a mat would be a lot better because you are playing with quite a bit of purple options. So Mac adds a purple Digimon or option card, and it's a memory tamer. And also, if you look in a scenario that you get your missed memory boost, ideally, if you're activating the mat on the current turn and then follow up turn miss memory boost, it's the same thing as using Alamo Coco twice. And also on top of it, you could actually draw the card. And if it's currently, then you could also gain 2 memories on the following turn. So like compared to mat, it's a lot more beneficial than Alamo Coco, okay? Next, we have 4 Amanos, okay? This card is really good. All turns, once per turn. When a purple card is placed under this tamer, draw a card and gain 1 memory. Lots of benefits, okay? your turn once per turn, when you would play a level 4 or higher Digimon with Bagra Army in its trait by placing up to 3 purple Digimon cards from under your Tamers in that Digimon Digivolution cards. Reduce the play cost of that Digimon by 2 for each card placed. Okay, so first off, okay, let's double check. Yes, has Bagra Army. Very good. Now, this thing can possibly stack. So if you have multiple Amanos, okay, you could pretty much stack your Digimon. Level 6 is pretty high to the point that you don't even pay anything just to play them. So that's very good and it's ridiculous and you can benefit a lot. And there's more cards that we're going to get into that really like shows you. But yeah, that's a really good team to have. And pretty much that's the majority of this whole deck is focusing pretty much on Bagramon and Amano. Next, we have two swords. Now, a lot of people have been asking about this and wondering like why playing swords, because you know what, you are playing 6 Tamers. Getting with a level 5 or lower Digimon is quite good, especially for a memory cost of 6. Because don't forget, if your opponent has like a card like Betamon that prevents you from gaining memory, because that card is for all turns, okay? That means you're stuck and you won't gain memory on your opponent's turn. So this definitely gets rid of those nuisance cards, even though if it's only deleting like maybe like max 2 Tamers like time to time, at least you're going to hit like the ideal targets, and especially those annoying rookie cards, those could definitely be wiped off like right away. So I see exactly why you need to play 2 of these. Next, like I said before, we have 2 Missed Memory Boosts. Really good card. Follow up as well. Okay, now we have a last remaining one. So we have 1 Gunslinger. So this one is when this card is trashed from the deck, gain 1 memory. Now, let me tell you, cards like Analog Youth does not work with this card. And the reason why is because when a card says reveal and then trash, it's in Digimon, now specifically only Digimon, okay? That reveal is not considered to be part of the deck anymore. Usually when we look at other TCG games, it is, but for Digimon, that's not the case. Revealing is a whole different area. So if you use Analog, which like reveal 3, choose a Digimon to add to hand, and trust the rest, okay? And if one of them was discard, it would not trigger. Main effect is delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, but increase the level for every 10 cards. So pretty good, especially if you can accumulate quite a bit in your trash. Next, we have 4 Bun Ken, which is really good. So reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card with Bagra Army in its tray among them to your hand. Trust the rest. Then you may play 1 Digimon card with Bagra Army in its tray from your trash under one of your teamer. Now, off the bat, like I said, with Alo Mokoko, even this, okay, adding this back with Matt is quite well, and you get to still trash. So you can benefit a lot, and you're still going to be able to trash cards. Security is you may play 1 Amano from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost, then add this card to your hand. Really good. And finally, we have 1 Astral Snatcher. Oof. Main, you may place up to 3 Digimon cards with Bagra Army in their trades from your trash at the bottom of one of your Digimon Digivolution cards or at the bottom of one of your Tamers. Then if you have a Digimon or Tamer with Bagra Army in its trades, place one of your opponent's Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. So similar effect to Bagramon. So really good card, especially if it's in your security and you're like, okay, let's just put your level 7 guy underneath your level 4. Done. And that's it for a Bagramon deck profile. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. And if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to review here on the channel, you can follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.